From the movies you stream to the maps that guide you, artificial intelligence, it's like the invisible engine of our digital world. But as this engine gets more and more powerful, it gets really hungry for our personal data. So the big question is, who's setting the rules of the road to make sure it doesn't swerve off course? To really see how this all works, let's follow someone, we'll call her Alex, through a pretty typical day. I mean, think about it. The social feed she scrolls, the movie recommendations she gets, even that online loan application she fills out, or the map that gets her to a meeting. Every single one of these actions is powered by AI, and every one of them uses her personal data.
Look, all this convenience is absolutely fantastic, right? But it all runs on our personal information. So who's setting the ground rules? Well, in Singapore, that question now has a pretty clear answer. There are new guidelines that spell out exactly how companies should be handling our data when they build and use AI.
Okay, so let's get into the details here. These guidelines come from Singapore's Personal Data Protection Commission, or PDPC for short. And their goal is to strike this really critical balance, giving us, the consumers, peace of mind that our data is actually safe, while also giving companies a clear playbook for how to innovate responsibly. It's really all about building a foundation of trust so that AI can grow in a healthy way. So let's go ahead and pull back that curtain. Let's see what these rules actually mean for you, starting with that very first click you make whenever you sign up for a brand new service. Right. So here's Alex again, and she's signing up for a new video streaming service. And there it is, that little pop-up we all know so well, asking for consent. We all do it, right? We just click I agree and we move on. But under these new rules, that little click, well, that's just the beginning of the story. At the heart of all of this is a really powerful idea called meaningful consent. So what does that actually mean? It means it's not enough anymore to just get you to tick a box. For your consent to be truly valid, the guidelines say you have to be given enough clear information to actually understand what you're signing up for. And this slide shows you exactly what that should look like. A company ought to tell you why it wants your data, for movie recommendations, let's say. It should be really specific about what data it's collecting, like your viewing history, and maybe even what signals matter most to its AI, like whether you actually finished a movie from start to finish. Okay, so we've got consent covered. Now, let's fast forward a few weeks. Alex is getting these amazing movie recommendations. The service just gets her. But how in the world did the AI learn her tastes so fast? Well, that brings us to our next big topic, the rules for training AI behind the scenes. See, every AI system has what you'd call a life cycle, and a huge part of that is development. That's where it's trained and tested to get smarter. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. The guidelines actually say that companies can sometimes use our data to improve their systems without asking for our consent all over again. But, and this is a big but, only in very specific situations. And this is where that distinction is so important. Under the business improvement exception, Alex's viewing data can be used to make her recommendations better. That makes sense. But there's also a research exception. This one's for broader innovation, things that have a public benefit, like, say, developing a new medical AI. And you can bet the rules are different for each one. Recommending a movie is one thing. It's pretty low stakes. But what happens when the AI is making a much, much bigger decision about your life? So now, Alex is applying for a job online, and an AI is doing the first round of screening. Suddenly, the stakes are way, way higher. And this brings us to a really key principle in these guidelines. The rules get stricter as the stakes get higher. As the guidelines put it, the amount of information a company needs to give you is proportionate to the risks. In other words, the bigger the potential impact on your life, the more transparent they have to be about what they're doing. This responsibility actually has a formal name. It's called the accountability obligation. And to put it simply, it means a company can't just launch an AI and then walk away. Nope. They are responsible for it. They need to have clear, transparent policies for how it works and how it protects your data. So for something really important like Alex's job application, this means real safeguards have to be in place. The company needs to be able to prove it has checked the AI for bias, that Alex's data is totally secure, and this is huge, that there's still a human in the loop, someone who can review or even override the AI's decision. At the end of the day, they are accountable. Okay, so we followed Alex through her day, and we've seen these rules in action. What are the big takeaways here? How do these guidelines actually empower you, the person using all this stuff? Well, when you boil it all down, your protection really rests on 3 key pillars. So what are your rights? First, you have the right to be informed with clear, simple explanations. Second, you have the right to know that while your data does help improve services, there are really strict limits on that. And third, and this is the big one, when the stakes are high, accountability is completely non-negotiable. Ultimately, all of these guidelines are designed to build trust, to give you more confidence in the digital services you're using every single day. So the next time you click agree or you let an AI help you with a big decision, you're a little more informed about the rules of the road. And that leaves us with one last question for you. Knowing what you know now, what more are you going to expect from the AI you use every day?